With car prices being crazy high right now, the worst thing you can do if you're nearing the end of a lease is not explore all your options, because you may be able to turn an unwanted car into cash. In this video, I'll share our experience of how our leased Honda netted about $8,000 in California. We'll go step by step to hopefully make this potentially frustrating and downright confusing process as simple as possible. At a high level, what you're looking to do is buy the car at the end of your lease and then immediately sell it at a profit to take advantage of a tax exemption rule in a state like California. Otherwise, you could owe hundreds or even thousands in taxes that would either reduce or eliminate your equity, and in that case, you're probably better off just returning the car. So, how is this even possible to have equity with a car coming off of a lease? Well, it's sort of a strange time for car buying and selling. With the pandemic impacting chip supply and production, used car prices are unusually high, and in many cases, new car supply is more limited than usual until production ramps up to meet demand. That means, for many people coming out of a car lease in 2021 and early 2022, with really low mileage because we barely drove during the pandemic, our cars may actually be worth more, and in some cases a good deal more, than our lease buyout amount. Before I go further, here's a disclaimer. We're not car experts, and this is for your entertainment mostly. But as a busy parent on a budget, I wanted to put this together to help others going through the same process save some time, particularly in a state like California that doesn't make it any easier. So, of course, your specific experience will vary. If you found this helpful in any way, make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss anything new. And stick around to the end of the video, where I'll share some practical tips based on my experience and learnings. Now, we're going to go through the 5 key steps in order. Step number 1, run the numbers. The first thing you need to do is see if this whole endeavor is even worth your while. Meaning, if you buy the car, then immediately sell it, would you see a profit? An easy way to ballpark the price of your car is through a website like Kelley Blue Book. Expect the trade-in value to come in a bit higher than reality, but if it's many thousands more than your lease payoff amount, you may have something. In my situation, after this step, I knew I was going to move forward. Step 2, buy out the lease. Up until last year, you didn't need most of the following steps. You could just go on down to Carmax or another dealer, and they'd be able to buy your car, even if it was on a lease. End of story. Well, not right now. Honda and a number of other major car manufacturers recently paused lease buyouts to competing dealers. This means that for many car brands, don't just try going down to CarMax or talking to Carvana or Zoom or a different type of car dealer until you have clear title under your name. So, I went over to the Honda Financial website, and it was simple to see my actual payoff amount. I went ahead and scheduled the payoff online. Keep in mind, you'll need to front the money to purchase the lease until you get paid back when you sell the car. In my case, I submitted the purchase request online on day 1 to kick off this whole adventure. On day 2, I did what we'll call step 1A. You need to complete what's called an odometer disclosure statement. This is where you'll certify the odometer reading and get some other basic info that'll be used by Honda Financial to sign over the title to you. I filled this out and submitted it by email. It was not easy to find this Honda Financial email address because the site was kinda half under construction. So it's on the screen in case it's helpful. By day 3, things were already in motion. The bank transfer was complete, and on the Honda Financial website, the lease was showing as closed. I followed up with a call to Honda Financial to reach a lease end specialist. There's a prompt to do this, no matter what if you want to talk through options, but in my case, I was specifically looking to check on the status of the title release, confirm my odometer submission was received, and see about expediting the title being sent. They said they could expedite it if I wanted to use my own FedEx or UPS account number to charge for it. Otherwise, it should take about 2 to 3 weeks. I didn't think it was worth it to pay, so I said thanks but no thanks. You'll see though, I was in for a pleasant surprise. Because only 5 days, yes, 5 business days later, I had the certificate of joint title in the mail from the leasing company. You'll see though, it's not a clean title because it still says Honda Financial. But it's signed over to me, which brings us to the next step. Step 3. Transfer title. For this, you'll need to go to the DMV, or possibly a better option. If you're a AAA member, you can do this at one of their branches and skip the DMV. That's what I did. When a car is sold or changes hands, you need to tell the DMV. When we buy a car at a dealer, they typically do this for you and submit the paperwork. But in this situation, it's completely up to you. In this step, you're updating the car registration in your name and also requesting an updated title. And here's where we have a warning. You will be hit with the use tax at this point in California. Your car leasing company didn't collect tax from you when you purchased the car, but the DMV will. When you consider the cost of the car you just bought can be tens of thousands of dollars, this tax is no small amount. But this is the kicker. This is something you can pursue to get refunded because you're selling the car quickly. Anyway, you're going to need to front this money as well, in the hopes that it will be refunded to you later. Now we wait on the DMV for the new title to arrive in the mail. When it does, you're ready to sell. Step 4. Sell it fast. Now that we've got title in hand, it's time to sell quickly, and definitely less than 10 days after you receive the title in the mail. So why 10 days? Well, in California, there's a special leased vehicle section of the procedures manual. Check out this part at the bottom. If you change from lessor to buyer, meaning you buy the car, a use tax is due, but not if you sell the car within 10 days. In this case, the manual says it's only due from the third party and not the seller and the third party. This is why those 10 days are critical when making your case for a refund. It's sort of a gray area, at least in my non-legal mind, whether those 10 days start when you buy out the lease or if it starts when you get the title, but either way, I was not about to mess around when I finally had what I needed to unload the car. It took a bit more than 3 weeks to get this from the DMV, 23 days to be exact. This is technically more than 10 days. So, as soon as I had the title, I started requesting sales offers from the usual car buying companies, Carmax, Vroom, and Carvana. Could I have pursued a private sale? Went dealer to dealer to haggle on the best price? Probably, but at this stage in life with little kids, I don't have time or the energy for that. My goal was to get an offer quickly and move on. And after less than 5 minutes of work, so to speak, Carmax came back with the best cash offer, so that's where the car would go. I made an appointment for the next day and completed the sale. There were multiple people waiting for payoff amounts from their leasing company, and another was told that there was nothing Carmax could do without the clean title. So do make sure to do your homework before wasting your time trying to sell a car you can't actually sell right now. Knowing this going in though, there was no issue getting the car sold, and with check in hand, it was now time to go to the state and try to get the tax refund. Step 5. Submit tax refund. This I knew was going to be the most convoluted and confusing step. Mentally, I was prepared to lose out on this and still be happy given my proceeds on the sale of the car. Why? Well, mostly because there isn't a whole lot of information out there on exactly what to do and how to do it, what the process takes, and even what the state will do when you try to make a claim. As you can imagine, there's some administrative sounding information through the state website, but it's not necessarily simple to understand. I found an online submission form, but don't waste your time. It won't work and you'll be told to do it via paper or in person. This is the actual form you need to complete, CDTFA 101 DMV, which you can find through a link we'll share in the description. The official name for this form is the Claim for Refund or Credit for Tax Paid to DMV. You'll complete it, print it and mail it, and wait. I had no guide for how to fill this out, so was guessing a bit about what the state is actually looking for. In my case, I succinctly bulleted out the steps and dates. I also included a few printed attachments, proof that I had received an offer to sell the car, a copy of the updated registration showing taxes paid, and the third-party sale. I figured I might as well proactively provide this to save a step. On the form, it says you don't actually need to include anything, but be ready to provide proof when asked. I assumed if I didn't do this, I'd probably be asked to follow up anyway. It didn't work, more on that soon, but that's okay. Then I simply mailed it in. About a month later, something really official came in the mail from the California Department of Tax and Fee Administration. Based on the size of the envelope, I was expecting a flat rejection. But no, it was actually a confirmation they received the submission, and it documented a case number for reference. Great, so I knew it was in the works. A couple days after that, another letter came. This time, it was from the specific tax auditor who had been assigned to my case. They were asking for 2 specific follow-up documents, the bill of sale, and the title with my name on it. I could have sworn that I included both of these in the original submission, but no big deal. Good news here was that the letter included their direct email address and specifically said you can respond via email. Great. I waited until the next business day and sent over the attachments with a brief cover note that included my case ID number from the letter. Less than 24 hours after that, I got a response saying thanks and that the refund was in process, so I should expect the check to arrive in a couple weeks. Success. Now that you've seen the whole process, here are a couple summary tips based on our experience. Document everything. Anything related to the buying or selling of your car, document, document, document. Scan every paper, take screenshots of every step you complete online, because this will be your friend later. For example, having a scan of the title with my name on it when requested later by the state after I sold the car and turned this over to Carmax. I would have been out of luck if I hadn't kept a digital copy. Do your homework. Spend some time up front to research your unique situation and whether the whole thing is worth your time. That way you're organized and ready to go as quickly as possible. Be patient. Patience is a virtue, and anytime you're involving multiple government entities like the DMV and a state tax office, you need to keep in mind that things can only go so quickly. In between when you're moving things along, you need to be prepared to wait, so keep this in mind when you're fronting a good deal of cash. Understand the risk. Car prices fluctuate, and this can eat away or completely destroy your equity. The offers for my car generally decreased by about $1,500 in that month between the initial online appraisal and when I was actually able to sell it. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope you found this helpful. If you have questions or went through a similar experience, be sure to let us know in the comments. Until next time, good luck with your car journey.